Welcome back to the Unanimous Decision Podcast. I'm your host, DPalm. Follow me on Twitter at DPalm66. Follow the show on Twitter at UDPod. And if you're going to talk about the show on all your social media, please use the hashtag UDPod. That way we can say thank you for the love, thank you for suggestion, or stop being mean to me online. The Falcons are fine. Now, podcast week rolls on, but that doesn't mean we have any doesn't mean we don't have any housekeeping to take care of. You found the show. Make sure you don't lose the show. Subscribe in the iTunes store, because when we do things like podcast week, it can kind of take a little while for things to hit the main feed. Make sure you get the most up-to-date MTR goodness by subscribing to each individual feed, but particularly the UDPod feed. Once you subscribe, take another 5 seconds and leave me a 5-star review. It's what we call in the business a win-win. It helps you let your voice be heard. I'll read whatever you say on the air, 5-star review. And it helps me because it tells the people who we answer to, Chris, kind of, but mostly our sponsors and mostly the iTunes, that people are actually listening and engaging and having a good time. Finally, I want you to make sure you can also support the show and the entire MTR Network through a bevy of ways. You can email us directly at udpodcast@gmail.com for anything that wouldn't fit into a 5-star review. You can also make sure you go to our Amazon affiliate link. You're going to shop through Amazon. I just bought a bunch of stuff right now. But if you're going to shop on Amazon, make sure that when Bezos gets his cut, the good folks at MTR get theirs as well. Use the affiliate link found on mtrnetwork.net. That way it's the same Amazon, same shipping, same Prime, same everything. And just make sure that Bezos gets a little bit less and we get a little bit more. You can also go premium with us. We have an entire premium package. That's right. There's a paywall on this site, and behind that paywall is hours upon hours of additional content. More in-depth comic book clubs, special things with me. We've got interviews. We've got shows that you may have even heard of before. That's how good the premium network is. Everyone wants to be selfish and hold on to it. Make sure you get involved so that people will tell you, oh, you haven't heard that show, you haven't heard of it? You don't feel left out. I hate for you to feel left out. Lastly, make sure you visit the MTR store so you can support all your favorite shows. The Blame DPalm and Blame Chris shirts will be back in stock for fall Super Tuesday season, and maybe, just maybe, for football season as we talk about today's topic. That's right, podcast week rolls on. A different topic every day. Today we're breaking down NFL coming season. And then we're doing is we're dividing into conferences. Today, Wednesday, you're going to hear us talk about just the AFC. Tomorrow, the NFC, but today we've got Justin from the Three Fifs Podcast on to break down the AFC the way only we can. Not your boring, static, here's offense, defense, special teams. No. We take a gambler's eye to it. We pulled some over-unders, and we're now calculating out how confident are we that these teams are going to break or not break the stated win total. Let's get right to it. All right, we're back. Podcast week rolls on. Day 3 here. And we're back to break down the AFC. So we're going to do this a little bit differently than I did it last year, or that I've done it in the past in other forums. We're actually going to take a good conversation. We're going to see what this team did last year. We're going to break down some big things that happened in the offseason. And then we're going to say, do we want to say over-under? When I say we, I don't just mean me. I mean this guest on Podcast Week. You've heard him here before from the Three Fifs Podcast, my man Justin. What up, Justin?
How's it going?
It's going great. He is a Titans fan, so of course we'll do the AFC South last. Because I want to build a little suspense for when I have to crush him in his dreams. Spoilers, we'll have to see. You can follow Justin on Twitter at LJ90. And we're going to get right into it. We're going to start out west, AFC. Look, it's the Broncos. And I could make a bunch of John Elway, Make America Great Again jokes. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to avoid that low-hanging fruit. I'm just going to say this is a team that went 9-7 last year. On basically the strength of the defense since old trick neck Peyton Manning had to take a bow. There were a lot of questions under center. Trevor Siemian seems to be like maybe the guy who's going to do it, but you don't quite know. They got Chad Kelly on the roster now, and for anyone who watched SEC football knows that good Chad is good and bad Chad, well, he might get run out of the league. Justin, what do you make of this team?
They're a team that I do not trust the quarterback as far as I can throw him. I mean, I feel like I'm going to say that for a lot of teams we're going to talk about today. That defense is phenomenal. You know what? This is the Denver Broncos, very similar to another team near and dear to my heart, the Florida Gators. An elite defense, but the quarterback, can't trust them. Like, that defense could give up 13 points a game, and they'd still find a way to go 8-8. Like,
for those keeping track at home, that's the third day in a row the words Florida Gators have appeared in these airwaves, and I don't know how to stop it.
It's an invasion.
I'll do everything I can, but I don't know if I can get in front of this. They went 9-7 last year, didn't make the playoffs. It was, like you said, the quarterbacks, the trust issues here. Last year they tied 21st in the league in passing yards, but 27th in rushing. It feels like everything took a step back when they got that ring, except for the defense. They only allowed 18.6 points a game, but if your offense can't score, that's not going to get you a whole lot.
Right, and when we're talking about the running game, it's a lot easier to stop the running game when I do not have to even respect your passing game.
What passing game?
Exactly. Like, if I know your quarterback is suspect, I'm putting 8 in the box and daring you. Like, I'm just going to dare you to prove me wrong. I'm leaving your receivers out there on
I'll be wrong once or twice. I'd rather be wrong than to let you run on me.
Exactly.
Okay, Justin, so the line for this team is 8.5. I say they go over. And I think mine is a bigger indictment of the West than it is a belief in the Broncos.
I'm hard pressed because that
West game. I'm telling you guys, even if you don't gamble, this is a great way to establish how you feel about these teams.
So I was doing my homework before, and I'm looking at the schedule. They could easily go anywhere between 6-10 and 11-5. I'm not joking.
It's a huge swing. It's either going to go all great or all poorly.
And that's the thing. It'll either go swimmingly or horrible.
I'm betting on Von Miller. I'm betting on Von Miller.
I'm betting on that quarterback. I don't think whoever starts week 1 will not start week 10. Ooh. So I'm betting on quarterback instability and 8-8. Solid 8-8.
So you're taking the under. All right, little separation early. I'm writing these down now. I didn't know it'd be this much early separation. Let's stay in the division. Kansas City went 12-4 last year. 12-4 last year. 12-4 last year. If you're shocked, so am I. They ended up taking Patrick Mahomes from Texas Tech in the first round. They clearly made the playoffs. Didn't do much in the playoffs, but they did make it there. You're talking about another team that's got a pretty good defense, but is it a better offense or just more consistent?
Consistent. If they can get into a rhythm of what they do well, it may not be flashy or impressive, but it's how they like to run their team, which means they're going to be able to move things at the pace that they're accustomed to, which means they're not going to get into a lot of situations like the Broncos got into where it's 3 and out.
Right. So I'll take it right behind the curtain a little bit. I have like 2 words next to every team on my list right now of something I wanted to bring up. And I'm going to say something to you, and I'm not trying to start an argument, I'm not trying to start a fight. I am wondering what happens when Andy Reid gets Colin Kaepernick. Because I think Colin Kaepernick is the platonic ideal of an Andy Reid dream quarterback, and it's proven that Alex Smith can succeed in the system, which means Colin Kaepernick can take you to the Super Bowl. Like, you got to remember, the only downside here is the irreparable psychic damage it will do to Alex Smith to lose his job to Colin twice.
So I'm glad I'm not the only person that's been thinking that. Like, how often?
So Andy's waiting. We just chilling on Andy, right?
Like, how often does he go to his general manager and the owner? Like, I'm just saying, Colin Kaepernick, 16 touchdowns, 4 interceptions last year. Those are great numbers. And I'm just saying, Alex needs a backup. He just needs a solid backup for when we rest at the end of the season, because we're going to be so well into the playoff picture. We just want to be able to spell him and not lose a step. That's all.
He walks into the office every day. The GM says hi. He says, "How about today?" And they say, "Not today, Andy." He said, "All right, see you tomorrow." And on the off days, you know what he does? He wakes up, kisses his wife, and then texts the GM, "How about today?" He knows. We know. Dude, we got these eyes. Like the last time Alex Smith, I think the best Alex Smith we ever saw. You know what happened to him? He got a concussion and he never played another down for the Niners.
And game is the game, right? And it's not like Alex Smith was bad or even Alex Smithy. He was having a legitimately great year.
That's the best Alex Smith ever looked. And guess what? In Kansas City, you've seen the Alex Smith ceiling. It's diminishing returns at this point. Last year may have been the best you're ever going to get out Alex Smith, and it doesn't touch the year that Kaepernick Wally pipped him.
And again, I think that just goes to show how good Kaepernick was, like those first 3 years of him in San Francisco. Like, he was a legitimate nightmare to plan against.
So I love their running attack. We've made fun of Alex Smith enough here. Defense is stout, 19.5 a game allowed. returning a lot of starters. I got to ask. The line here, like I said again, 12 wins last year, which I think was an overachievement. I think we can all kind of agree on that. This year, they're being put at 9. What do you think of that? Do you think an over or under for win total for this team?
Over by 1, right? Like this is. So I'm kind of cheating by looking at the schedule. There's 6 games that are like definitive losses and like 2 that they could slip up on, but consistent teams like this really don't get caught slipping. So they're 10-6. Like we agree that 12-4 was an overachievement, but they're not a bad football team. They're still a playoff caliber football team. They're just not a 12-win team.
So I've got a push, which if you say it's a cop out, screw you, it's my show. Yeah, I think they win 9 games. I think they make the playoffs, but I think they win 9 games.
So now that's where we're gonna have a disagreement. I don't know if 9 wins get you in the playoffs in the NFC this year.
I'm very down on the AFC. I'm not going to lie.
I think the AFC is top heavy, but since only 6 teams get in.
But the thing is, the top is the Patriots. It's going to be the Texans. I'm sorry to say it. It's going to be.
Oh, no, we agree there.
It's going to be the Raiders. Those are the 3 top teams. Everyone else is a mishmash of trash in the AFC.
It may be a mismatch of trash, but that trash could easily get 10, 11 wins.
But the thing is, when it's trash versus trash, you see the records start to settle in at 8 and 8, 9 and 7s.
Okay, valid.
I think they win 9 games. I like the Chiefs. I think they make the playoffs. A team I don't like, a team I don't think makes the playoffs. San Diego or LA or whatever, wherever your team is, you know who I'm talking about. The Superchargers, they finished up at a dismal 5-11 last year. What can you say about this team?
I feel like the drop off from when they were good to now was meteoric. Like, I blinked and they're not good anymore. Like, I used to be able to be like, oh yeah, Chargers, they're in the playoff hunt. Last year, I'm like, were they always this terrible?
You know what it was? And it was interesting because they kind of shot themselves in the foot with it when the Chargers got in the news for not letting Gates and Rivers go to the Hall of Fame ceremony. My joke was they were afraid they wouldn't come back. And I was like, oh man, life is pretty good not playing for that fucking team anymore. Let's both quit. Like, I thought that was the realest concern.
I mean, you wouldn't be wrong, right? Like,
the team's
what is there to play for on the Chargers? Like, what else is there? Like, what do you have to look to if you're a Chargers fan or on the Chargers team?
Finished 8th in passing last year because Phil Rivers can still throw the pill. But the thing is, he's not throwing to anyone. Like, there's no yards after catch happening here. And Antonio Gates is still their featured receiver, and it's 2017.
Oh my God, it's 2017. Antonio Gates has been in the league. Oh my God.
Right? We just watched Damian Thomas go in the Hall of Fame, and Antonio Gates is still the featured receiver. And the thing is, it's going to get worse for them because Phil Rivers and Antonio Gates don't have many years left, and the drop-off behind them, well, it doesn't look very good. I think Mike Williams will invigorate this offense some, but let's be real. The line here is 7.5. I'm taking the under. What do you think?
Oh, under. There's no way this squad.
Where do these next 3 games come from? I don't see it.
There's no way this squad gets 7 games. There's no way this squad gets 7 games. Absolutely not.
I want to bet whatever the number is. Honestly, I would like to go to Vegas before the season starts and bet the under if you can bet attendance. I'll just bet that. Every game. I'll just bang the Chargers under. And it'll always hit.
Again, that seems like a safe bet.
Really safe bet.
You're talking me into some very questionable decisions right now.
I'm saying, like, Vegas is out there. Anyway, last team in the West, another playoff team from last year, also went 12-4. The Oakland, soon to be Las Vegas Raiders, who have brought back Marshawn Lynch, not just to the football fields, but to all of our lives. Look, this is a team with a great, and some spoilers, I like them a lot because they have a great offensive line. A great offensive line. Oh my goodness, how good is this line? The question mark last year was kind of the back end of that defense. It was a little young. You hope that they matured in the offseason. Passing game is strong. They made the playoffs without their quarterback, and they averaged 26 points a game, good for 7th in the league. And they added Marshawn Lynch.
Why do we let the Raiders get better? Like, why did Seattle just say, sure, Oakland, take one of the greatest players of our franchise?
If Oakland's saying goodbye to Oakland, you say it the most Oakland way possible. I assume MC Hammer's on the staff.
I mean, it's only fair.
I mean, like DB's assistant or something. Like, go shag balls. I'm like, nothing crazy. I don't have to draw up schemes or anything, but like he can help. He can carry a clipboard.
Put him. No. You know what? You put him in the front office. Have him in charge of outreach, player outreach.
Shout out to Jimmy Zalawale. He is the fullback who is the little brother of my college quarterback, and it's just good to see the people out there, my friends. And EJ Manuel's still in the league. Like, I cooked on the depth chart just to be like, who's backing up Derek Carr this year? EJ Manuel. Still in the league.
The greatest trick Jimbo Fisher ever pulled was getting, in back-to-back years, Christian Ponder and EJ Manuel picked in the first round.
Look, man. He could, yeah. That's what Jimbo did with me. Forever. Like I said, 12-4 last year, split the division. The line's at 10. How do you feel about 10?
That's actually where I feel. Like,
feel a push?
10, yes. I feel a push.
Over. Partially because I'm so down on the Chargers. I think the Broncos are a team that they're going to beat bad teams and lose to good teams. And I think the Raiders are a good team. I know that's a bit of a hot take. I know it's dropping news here that I think the Raiders are a good team. Man, podcasts. Let's head next to the AFC North, where when you talk about a division that I think lives on reputation, we found ourselves there. The Bengals are the first team we'll go to. They've been 6-9 last year. I need someone to explain to me why they think they'd be better. I'm just look the Bengals. and if your answer is Andy Dalton's going to be healthy, I need you to listen to yourself when you say it, because you sound ridiculous.
Right.
They took Joe Mixon in the second round. They caught hell for that, but I think he's actually going to be a pretty good running back. I don't know anything about this line. They averaged 110 a game last year running. Pretty, hey, that's top half of the league stuff. But I just don't think that this is an offense that finished well. Even though they averaged 13th and 15th in rushing and passing respectively, they only finished 24th in points. They didn't punch it in. I don't know, man. So my note for this team is Cardale Jones ?
I don't think that happens because Cincinnati's seen bad Andy Dalton.
I know, but
right?
I think Cardale Jones. So I was doing some just like those weird numbers thing because I'm a weirdo. If you could trade Cardale Jones in the first preseason week to the Bengals, he could start.
I mean, he could, but will he? Right?
Look,
like again,
clearly not the answer. AJ McCarron also not the answer.
But I don't think the Bengals are going to get away from Dalton, though, right? Like, he would have to be So here's why I say that. They would have to be putrid for the first month.
And as long as you're throwing to AJ Green, you're not going to be putrid.
Hold on, I stand corrected. They could mess around in October if only won 2 games by the end of October.
Well, let's look at that schedule. That's a good point. I don't think I looked at their schedule because I saw Bengals and then knee-jerked under.
So open Baltimore, Houston, at Green Bay, then at Cleveland.
Okay, you and I disagree on Cleveland because I am bullish on Cleveland. For the over, not in general. For the over. Okay, relax. I'm not crazy. But no, you're right. This is a strong. They're playing a strong schedule. The thing is, they always and I don't know how he still has a job, but Marvin Lewis tends to max out teams that are like this. It's the years that we count them out that he surprises us.
Yeah, but they've also had some semblance of a functional quarterback, right? Like Andy Dalton, while not great, he's been functional. He has regressed.
Yes.
I don't know what to tell you. I have no reason to believe that this team will have a winning record. There's no bright spot. There's no spot of hope.
So you're gonna laugh at this line because it's 8.5.
Yeah, no, I'm going the under.
We're both going under. That's a ridiculous line. Let's move on to a team you were just disparaging, you jerk. The Cleveland Browns. I know we have Cleveland Browns fans who listen. Thank you. I'm glad you give you something to do with your Sundays as opposed to that. 1-15 last year. 1-15. It was all bad. I do think that historically, you look at NFL teams, even on college level, the year 2 of a coach is where the jump happens. And I'm a big fan of Hugh Jackson's talent. I think he does a great job with quarterbacks. I think he's got a pretty bare cupboard, but if you can tread water until DeShone Kizer could possibly maybe add a new element to that offense, there's not a bad, this football team isn't bad. It's not good.
You are way higher on DeShone Kizer than
Then I have any right. No, then I have any right to be. I'm hiring DeShone Kizer because of Hugh Jackson.
All right.
Because Osweiler has his problems, but guess what? If I run a pretty limited playbook and keep him to 3-step, Osweiler can go out there and not kill me. I can tread water with Brock Osweiler. Cody Kessler. People believe in him more than I ever will, so whatever. But Brock Osweiler, he had, things went wrong in Houston for, I think, a lot of reasons. But if you can get a little confidence in him, you can keep him in 3-step game and just don't screw it up. We got decent O-line, good running game. Don't screw it up. Throw to Kenny Britt.
Oh, that hurts.
I know.
You saying that hurts
me.
You're
welcome. That was a shot at you, by the way. For that Florida nonsense. What's your take on this team? I earned that one. What's your take on this team?
I believe in Hugh Jackson, right? I'm with you there.
Yo, I believe in Hugh Jackson, and I believe in this deal. You look at this defense, this is a pretty good defense.
But how much longer can that hold out, right? How long has Joe Hayden, Florida Gator, anchored that second? How much? I just want to know when it's going to run out for their defense, because they've been holding it down for a while now. Their defense has been sneakily functional and sneakily good at times.
It was sneakily good, and then what did they do in the draft? Myles Garrett. That's a game-changing DN added to an already pretty good defense. That looks bad on paper because obviously the offense couldn't do anything last year. They were on the field the entire game. Oh, look at their points against. Man, look at their time of possession against. Those points are exhausted.
That's the stat. If you're gonna look at defensive stats, you look at points allowed. Sure. You also want to get the context for that. Look at time on the field, or time of possession for the opponent side, so you can see just how long they're on the field. And you'll start seeing, 35, 36, 37, 38 minutes. That doesn't
that's
seem...
not a good number.
Those are LeBron James numbers. And that's not a good thing.
It's not a good... That's a lot of time for... because guess what? They do on defense. They sub a lot. And they get tired. It just happens, man. It's going to happen. That's how football works. But hopefully this offense can find something. I believe in a coach bump. I believe in Hugh Jackson. The line right now is, let me just pull it back up. It's 4.5. And I took the over.
Oh, no, I'll take the over on that.
Okay. See,
I'll give them the over.
That's my thing. Why can't they win 5 games?
And that's the thing. I will give them 5. I can see them getting 5.
Next on the list, Baltimore, the Ravens. They went 8-8 last year. Joe Flacco regressed. The owner made a mess of everything. The defense is living on a lot of reputation at this point. And, that's about all I saw. Didn't love their draft. I love Ozzie Newsome. I just thought he missed a little bit here. Maybe, but I'm also a guy with a podcast. He's the best GM in football, so I'm probably wrong. What do you think here? Because I don't see any reason to be excited. I don't see any reason to say, 8-8 was a down year for them. 8-8's kind of who they are now.
And so that's where I am with the Ravens. They are 8-8, right? If you could change a team to the Jeff Fishers, this would be the Baltimore Jeff Fishers, right? They're just there. They're average. They're good enough to beat bad teams. They're not good enough to beat good teams anymore. And if you're saying to yourself, well, what about all those times they played the Patriots close? Yeah, that's those days are gone.
Longer ago than you think it was.
Right. That's 2013, 2014. Right. We're going into the 2017, 2018 season.
Right. Things done changed. but I don't think enough has changed in Baltimore to move them off the 8-8. The line's at 9. I took the under.
Yeah, that's an under. This is, if they are a 500, they are a 500 team at best, and that's being generous.
I think it's gonna be interesting to see what happens with Flacco with his back injury, because honestly, you never know with a back injury. Like, backs are
right.
You everyone's like, oh, I'm sorry to carry your back. Like, that's something everyone takes seriously across the board, and we'll see. Like, it'll be interesting to see what comes out, what they do, because clearly, who's the kid who's throwing all these picks?
Oh God, not Cody Kessler. We just talked about Cody Kessler.
Cody Kessler's going to start an NFL game, man. That's crazy. That's freaking
the kid they picked off. God, I know who you're talking about. His name escapes me at the moment. But he threw 5 picks. He threw 5 picks in practice.
The best part about that is they keep tweeting out pictures of being like, Ravens DBs another pick in practice. I'm like, you just showed your quarterback throwing another interception. It's a nice spin, but I know what you've done. It's Ryan Mallett. It's the alleged future behind Tom Brady.
How is Ryan Mallett? Look, you know what the best job program? You know what the best job program in America is?
Anyway, Pittsburgh Steelers. Historically, I guess probably the most luminous team in the division. But man, it feels like this. It feels like the Ravens again, but just a touch better. You know, like they're a little bit better team than the Ravens, so of course they look better. Roethlisberger's gonna do his thing. He's probably gonna miss 3 to 5 games, but he's gonna come back and throw for a bunch of yards. Little smoke screen weirdness of him saying he wanted to retire in the offseason, but this is a team that's got a solid running game that's getting back some pieces for how do I put this? Self-control issues. Martavis Bryant will be back on the sideline. And, it's going to be really interesting. They're going to start Josh Dobbs in their first preseason game because, once again, these games don't matter. Justin, this team went 11-4 last year. They get better or worse to you?
So, I'm going to say neither, with the caveat being they vastly overperformed last year. Right? Like, I do think this is another mediocre 9-7, 8-8 team. They just vastly overperformed because Ben Roethlisberger is a football cyborg.
And then it's also crazy. You start looking at the injuries that have already been recorded in camp for them, and that's why I try to do this in camp, because honestly, one Saturday night changes this entire podcast, changes everything we're talking about.
Yes.
Overs, unders, the whole 9 yards. So, but yeah, you look at all the injuries. It's just, you don't like this. I'm obviously not reading too much into camp injuries because. A lot of these are older players who just don't want to be there in the first place. So, yeah, I definitely hurt my knee. Yeah, I tweaked it. Yeah. And on a day when Devonta Freeman, spoilers when we recorded this, recorded the highest contract for running back in the NFL, you got to ask yourself, what's next for Le'Veon Bell?
He has to feel a way about that, right? Like, he still hasn't got his money. And now we see Devonta Freeman's contract. He's like, okay, so where's my cut?
Like his age and the fact that he plays a position that's been largely deemed disposable for second and third contract guys.
So that may be true, but I also try to look at it like team by team. Can the Steelers afford to let Le'Veon Bell go?
It's a great point. I hope the man gets his money. I hope he makes his money with getting hurt as little as possible. Their over-under is 10.5 games. What do you got?
I got the under.
I think, yeah. We agree that they may have overachieved a little bit last year. We agree that whole division there. We'll see if we can mix it up some. AFC East, Buffalo Bills won 7-9 last year. They jerked around their quarterback, Tyrod Taylor, in the offseason. They brought in new people everywhere. And, I'm unimpressed with what happened there.
Yeah, like I'm still wondering. I think you had me on when the Tyrod saga started. Like, what are they doing there? Like, what was their end game?
The thing is that if you're gonna have a new head coach, new staff, new everything, front office, you probably want to have your roster locked down. Also, don't love the fact that you just signed Anquan Bolden on Monday.
He's still
in the league. They signed him on Monday. Shit, I mean, I don't tell you. This is something that happened at training camp on Tuesday. Zay Jones, a wide receiver, is a rookie. He joked with Anquan Bolden. that Bolden had played Arizona with Jones's uncle, former NFL quarterback Jeff Blake. Jones was 8 years old when Bolden was drafted in 2003 by the Cardinals. Anquan Bolden will turn 37 in October. Please. Oh my God, that made me so sad.
Like, they know this isn't Madden, right? Like, I know 37 on Madden, you're like, okay, I can get like maybe 1 or 2 more years before you retire. Like, this isn't Madden. This is like real life 37
years. I read it out loud and got sadder with every word. Oh, that was depressing. Let's just pick the line and get the hell out of here for this team. Goodness gracious. Line's at 6. I took the under.
I'm pushing. That 6 is just about right.
Well, I'm actually super down on this entire division because the Dolphins went 10-6 last year. They made the playoffs with Matt Moore under center. And, they added Jay Cutler, who coming off shoulder surgery, yes, but is still a pretty serviceable quarterback and does well under Gase's eye. Look, man, for all those reasons, they should be good, except for this. The reason Ryan Tannehill isn't playing is because he kept getting hit because his line was bad. The reason Jay Cutler needed shoulder surgery last year is because he kept getting hit because his line was bad. They did nothing to address the line in the offseason. Oh, my God, Jay Cutler's going to make $10 million to get hit twice.
Yeah, sounds about right. So my mom was a huge Dolphins fan. And he's going to get hit 3 times and then what? Be on the sideline making his face on the bike. And I'm like, I mean, you're not wrong.
He said, I'm not in great cardiovascular shape, but that's cool. I just play quarterback. He might as well have had a cigarette in his mouth.
I assumed he did when he made that quote.
He told them, on Saturday, I'm not doing this. On Monday was the press conference. What? You had to beg this man. To be fair, though, if I'm in a booth and making decent money, you have to beg me too.
Well, you know why they had to beg him. Discussion for another day, but they had to go to Jay Cutler.
They couldn't go the other place.
This is the only team I will make this exception.
The more I think about it, like the harder it is for me to give him the pass. I get the pass and I understand it, and I know it's not my fight, it's a intercultural thing that should not speak on and do not have the right to. But I'm going to because apparently I have something else to say. It's just, for me, I've watched teams forgive a lot.
I've seen what that state did to Ozzie.
There's your card. You have empirical evidence on how it works. Because Ozzie won there, and it should still went bad for
him. Yes. Like, again, this is the only team I make that exception for. Because
we're done talking about it.
Because right, wrong, or indifferent.
We're done talking about it because we're both out of our depth on that one. 7.5 wins, though. Over under.
I got the under.
They ain't winning 5.
It's going to get so bad for them so quickly.
And that's why I was like, maybe I should take the over because I think after week 5 and 1 and 4, they do sign Colin. Everybody swallows a little bit of pride and they sign Colin.
See, I think he's in Kansas City by then. I think it's too late. I think he's in Kansas City by then.
If someone has Andy Reid's ear, Kool-Aid Man, sign Kaepernick. I can't guarantee you Super Bowl. I can give you best odds. It's not Alex Smith. It's not.
Right.
That defense, that running game, let's maximize the last position. Let's finish the drill. Finish the drill, Andy. You've done it with Nick Foles, damn it. I've seen you. I've seen it.
Look, we've seen the kind of quarterbacks Reid likes. Mike Vick, Vince Young, big, mobile.
Donovan.
Big arm. Donovan,
man. And before I say, black quarterbacks, this is the guy who molded Brett Favre.
For better or for worse.
On the football field, for better. Because Brett wouldn't listen to no one. Brett asked him what a nickel was his 7th year in the damn NFL. That story happened this offseason. I almost fought someone. I was like, I hate it. He's so damn talented, but I hate it. Let's go to probably the saddest story in the NFL. The New York Jets. Look, here at the UDPod, we support black head coaches. Todd Bowles' job is probably on the line. Todd Bowles has no chance to save his job.
It's probably for the best.
Isn't it though? Like, I'm there too. Like, maybe it's time for us to see. They went 5-11 last year, which honestly I would have bet the under on that. I didn't know it was 5.
If you had told me Ryan Fitzpatrick was going to lead a team to 5-11 last year, I would have said, where are the other 3 games coming from?
You know what? And the thing is, as someone who beat Ryan Fitzpatrick in college, sorry. I
was waiting for it. I was like, where's the bell?
I got to say, as much shit as I talk about him as a person and Harvard as an institution of safety schools, Josh McCown, Christian Hackenberg, and Bryce Petty, y'all need to call Fitz.
Oh, no. I understand why he started. Let's not stop silly.
You can start.
But the fact that he started,
they're making a good fucking idea. But in this situation, that's the saddest quarterback room in the league. God, think about being in that film room.
Wait, I'm sorry. You think that's the saddest quarterback room in the league?
I'm gonna read these names back to you: Josh McCown, Christian Hackenberg,
right,
and Bryce Petty,
right.
That's a sad. Yeah. But here's how sad it is. Who's the alpha?
Oh, I know who the alpha is, but do they have a right to be the alpha? Fitz is the alpha.
Team.
Oh, Jesus
Christ.
That's
what I'm saying.
Oh my God.
You're over here giving him way too much credit.
Oh my God.
The entire quarterback roster.
Why did my brain... I heard that, and my brain said, there's no way that could be what's left. Clearly, they still have Fitz. No, you're absolutely right. Fitz gone. Oh, my God.
Oh, that's the saddest...
What's the line again? Let me change my answer. No, I'm changing my answer on the show. Holy hell.
He's a backup in Tampa Bay, man.
That's right.
4.5. I had the under already. What do you have now?
Oh, no. So I had them at 6.
Ooh,
Dear God, that's no. We're going under. We're going under. I'll have the under, please.
Oh, I'm so glad that Ryan Fitzpatrick swung your bet 2 wins.
Yes,
that's the best part of this show. We've got 5 more teams, but I don't know if I can finish. I know exactly how much you value Ryan Fitzpatrick. It's 2 wins. I know the exact opinion of him. What's Ryan Fitzpatrick worth to Justin? 2 wins. Maybe. 1 in the possible.
No. He is a bad spades hand. 2 in the possible.
Okay. This is the least fun one. Goddamn Patriots. 14-2 Super Bowl champions. For the record, I'm looking at my list right here. Other ones say over, under. The Pats, it has the line, and it just says "God damn it" next to it.
I'm sorry, what was that? The little person has invaded, so that my eyes darted away for a second.
I was just saying that the next team on the list is the New England Patriots, and on each one of my teams, I've written out over or under, and next to the Patriots, I just wrote "God damn it."
Yeah. You know what? No. Because I have my answer written. I'm going to talk myself out of it. This is the year. It finally happens.
Oh, word?
We are finally going to see Tom Brady's mortality. No, it doesn't happen.
We're watching Justin Empire win on real time.
Yeah, no, the Empire wins. This is Rogue One. The Death Star gets built. Alderaan gets destroyed. There is no hope. There's no sunshine when she's gone.
Look, I hate them. I hate them. They're so good. They even got Vince Wilfork. They did it the right way with Vince Wilfork, man.
And they're getting Vince Wilfork is frighteningly good. Has he been better?
he got to retire a Patriot, man. That's so. It's just classy, man. And I'm done. I took the over. What about you?
Yeah. I can't talk myself out of the
It's 12
over.
and a half.
I'm trying to.
Where do 4 losses
I'm trying to
come
talk
from?
myself out of the over.
It's 12 and a half. Where do 4 losses come from?
Look. So okay, you want to do like month by month? I can see Houston catching them slipping.
So that's week 3.
That's a possible.
Okay,
that's a possible. That's
the rest of it looks like a lot of loose change. Oh my God! The end of the yo.
No. That last month, December is just Christmas. Literally Christmas for them.
Thanksgiving on. So we're not gonna do roster or schedule breakdowns. This is fucking insane. So 11-26, they are home for the Dolphins. Next week at the Bills. Next week at the Dolphins. Next week at the Steelers. It's a rough game. But then they close out the season home versus Bills and Jets. What?
I don't see 4 losses on the schedule, man.
That is a bloodbath.
I see 3 maybe.
Yo, somebody framed.
I got 2 of the possible, dog. We tried attaching him to the most toxic person in the country, and the
motherfucker won. Let's go to your home conference. Oh, that was really depressing. Thanks for that. Your home division.
Oh, no. You want to see depressing? The AFC South, baby.
See why I said 9-7 might just make the playoffs. This is not a good year for the AFC.
I see your point now.
Let's start in Indianapolis. Used to be a perennial powerhouse. They're going to be in the playoffs every year. Not so much now. Not only have they underachieved every year that they've had Andrew Luck, he's not been what he was billed to be from a talent perspective or from a health perspective. He still can't throw a football right now. They went 8-8 last year with him in and out of the lineup. What?
So here's the thing with the Colts. The Colts have decided we are the Andrew Luck show. That's what we got. We got Andrew Luck and some dudes. Figure it out. Peyton Manning managed to figure it out. You figure it out. Like for whatever reason, when they drafted Andrew Luck, they marketed him as Peyton Manning's successor. When he's less Peyton Manning, more Tony Romo.
He's more bad Brett Favre.
Like I said, Tony Romo. Like Tony Romo and Brett Favre to me have the same style. No, they have the same style. The gunslingers.
Lower than Brett Favre because Brett Favre actually might be a football god.
Again, that's why I went with Tony Romo.
Fair enough.
Right, like I feel like Andrew Luck makes those throws because he feels like he has to. Right, like we're watching 07 LeBron, where he feels like he has to do everything because I can't. Boobie Gibson is starting next to me. I can trust no one on this team. I can trust myself.
Yeah.
That's all I got. So like I've actually come around on Andrew Luck. I do think he's not as good as advertised, but I would still put him in my top 7 quarterbacks.
I would.
It's just
that's ludicrous. Top 7. Being healthy is a skill, by the way. The best ability is availability. He can't throw a football.
Okay, if we're factoring in health.
You know what? I'll take Bo Jackson, the greatest running back of all time. What are you talking about? Factoring in health. He can't play football right now.
It has always felt unfair to me to be like, well, this guy can't stay on the field. I'm like, yeah, but when they are, that's the trap.
It's a trap.
While I'm saying it out loud, I see the trap. Yeah, but when they're healthy.
I'm gonna do something here that I probably don't actually feel in my heart. I'm gonna semi-defend Andrew Luck. First of all, back when I was doing and living another life and working in another industry, I was at the combine the year he went in. One of my clients was with him, and they were sharing a cab to the facility, back to the hotel, and they're talking to the cabbie, and Andrew says, because everyone kind of knows he's going to be in Indianapolis. Indianapolis is where the combine is. And he asks, oh, what's that? To the cabbie, he says, oh, that's the Peyton Manning Children's Hospital. That's a lot for a 20-year-old kid. You're stepping into the shoes of a man who literally built a children's hospital.
Without him being there, right? Like I do feel whether or not there would have actually been mentorship, The fact that there
it was a vacuum.
The fans never.
It was a vacuum.
It's
like you gotta fill it. What? I don't fit there. You gotta fit it. I'm sorry. And the second thing I'll say, can you name the other receiver who isn't T.Y. Hilton?
They're in my division. I see them twice a year. I cannot.
Like, that's why they're like, And they've also gone super cheap on the O-line. Like, there's a reason he keeps getting hurt. He keeps getting hit. Like, come on, guys. Figure it out.
Like I said, Indianapolis, Jim Irsay has decided we're the Andrew Luck show.
I think I know
Figure
what
it out.
your pick's going to be. I think it's with me because I took the under of 9. Because the line's at 9. That's way too many. Under.
No, this is not a 6-win team.
Next up, the Jaguars. The less said about them, the better. Like this, I'm not one for like, oh, we should totally contract teams, but they don't. No one goes. They don't win. Maybe you move them. Here you go. Can Florida sustain 3 pro football teams and 3 major college teams? And UCF on the up and up on the upcoming because of Lane Kiffin.
So you're going to think this is crazy.
I'll let you in front of that. Whatever. If you say anything, yes, I will think it's crazy. Go ahead.
The way to save the Jaguars doesn't actually make them better, but it makes them more attractive to that specific
You're
market.
not going to say that on these airways. I know what you're going to say. Don't say it. Don't say it. He plays baseball. He plays baseball
not
now.
on the field. Not on the field. God, no. I'm not insane. Hell no. Like position assistant, position consultant.
The same thing I had Hammer doing in Oakland.
Yes.
Load the jugs machine. Grab the towels. Help out.
Be around for interviews and photos. If we can get a picture of you and Blake Bortles, where it looks like you're teaching him something.
If Tebow steps foot in the state of Florida, they flock to him. If he set foot on a football sideline, they just throw helmets at him until he got out there.
I think there's a way for Jacksonville to spin it where it's like he's mentoring Blake.
Anyway, I'm not going to sit here and listen to this. They did draft Leonard Fournette. They drafted Cam Robinson. They seem to be committed to something. I'm not sure what. The line is embarrassingly low, but it's still too high. It's 6.5.
Yeah, you know what they're committed to? Getting the best available on the board and figuring it out later. That's what they're committed to.
Next up is the team that's going on. I'm sorry. Did you take over or under? Okay.
Oh, that's the under.
I moved on too quick. I was like, he's taking the under. Oh, he's not crazy. Let's talk about the team that's going to win the division.
Yes, let's talk about the team that's going. The minute they drafted Deshaun Watson, I was like, okay, they just won the division.
I don't know how he dropped to 12. I know that we're all going to pay for it.
So let's review what the Texans have. A healthy-ish J.J. Watt, a healthy Jadeveon Clowney, and now a functional quarterback. Right? Like, Deshaun Watson doesn't even have to be good. He just has to be functional.
DeAndre Hopkins going to take care of this? Just the fucking ball, man.
And we know Deshaun. What I like most about Deshaun, the accuracy on his deep balls. That's what I love about it. You know what Hopkins will love about Deshaun?
The deep ball.
The ability.
Got it. Nailed it. First try. I will say this. I just scrolled through their schedule 3 times to make sure the Falcons don't play them.
No, you guys I feel like that should be, if not a preseason game every year. Like, we need to get Houston and Atlanta together.
It's the mirror match in Mortal Kombat. It's the Spider-Man meme with 2 people staring at each other, pointing at each other. Like, what? We're the same city.
That's what. Well, okay.
It can't even be a rivalry. It's like it literally be just. What do we do? Do we cheer? I don't know. It'd be a lot of confusion.
So in my head, the best NBA Finals ever would have been either Memphis-Atlanta.
You mean the barbecue bowl?
Yes. So we're on the same page.
My dream sports thing to happen, like on any level in any sport. And it's got to. By the way.
It has no choice but to. Adam Silver better make something happen.
Tim Donahue, motherfucker, let's go.
at the barbecue pit with that button that they have at Wingstop.
Keep the party going.
Overtime, yes. But yeah, the Texans are going to be scary good because they don't have a disaster at quarterback anymore. Like, not saying Brock Osweiler was a disaster. That whole situation was a disaster.
He played really badly, but yeah, it was a lot of stuff happening there.
Right. Yeah. The Titans had this division for like a week, and then our quarterback broke his leg. And for that 1 week, I allowed myself to hope. And then I reminded myself, hope is a lie.
You know. I will say this. I think the receiving core is a little weak behind Hopkins, but I think that the attention he'll draw will definitely help Deshaun kind of ease into being a quarterback in the NFL. Tom Savage will not start week 1. I'll tell you that right now. He won't. I think Lamar Miller's a great back. I think Donta Freeman was a great sneaky draft pick. They also have Alfred Blue, who I forgot was in the NFL, and I forgot how much he terrified me when he played for LSU.
Yeah. Like I said, this team is really, really good.
They got Clowney, Blue, and J.J. Watt. Hey, man, break up the Texans.
So here's the thing. Watt and Clowney are going to be healthy at the same time for the first time. Have fun.
Well, now allow me to deny his talents. Ugh. This is a team that only allowed 20 points a game last year, and that was without both of them healthy together. This is going to be scary.
Exactly. I'm just waiting for the first time the Texans put Watt and Clowney on the same side.
I'm excited for...
Just see what happens.
I'm really excited to see this defense kind of emerge with those two because I think behind them, people who don't get really named, like a Jonathan Joseph, like I think that they're going to benefit from the pressure these two are going to bring, and this defense is going to go from good to great, and the offense... They're 29th in the league through the air last year, so you tell me. It's not going to get worse. And lastly, because of the benefits of alphabetic positioning and my own tiny finagling of the order we did things in, we close with over under 8.5 for the Texans.
Over? Oh my God, that's
over for me too. That was an easy over for me. And we're gonna go to the last team on the list. And I'm gonna let you talk about them. They went 9-7 last year. Tennessee Titans. Justin, educate the people on the team in the NFL that has your support.
All right, so the Tennessee Titans. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking Marcus Mariota had a great year last year, and he's coming back. Everything's going to be great for them. They're going to win this division. USA Today said they're going to win 12 games. I'm going to tell you, bring it. The same USA Today that said the Patriots are going undefeated said the Titans will win our division with 12 games. I'd like that. Okay, yeah, one of those might happen.
Honestly, I know you're talking about Titans. This is not a Patriots-centric podcast, and I'm not reliving the events in February. But I never got it. I never understood why Giants fans hated them so much. I never understood why Jets fans hated them. I never understood why anyone hated. I was like, oh, they're great. It sucks that they beat on people, but they're great. Like, you can't fuck the Patriots.
See, it's easy to say that when they're not, like when you don't play.
Oh, wait a second.
This is horrible. But no, so here's the thing with the Titans. Our quarterback broke his leg. Not everyone is Adrian Peterson, who I'm still not convinced isn't the son of Optimus Prime.
For you guys to hear the things I say about Adrian Peterson. Because he's allied himself with the Saints and, well, dead to me.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Dead to me.
I mean, it's what's left of Adrian Peterson.
Those are the jokes I'll be making. Don't you worry your head one bit, sir.
But no, so the Titans, Mariota was able to hide a lot of what's wrong with this team. For example, our secondary is trash. It's one of the worst in the league. Our defense, one of the worst in the league. We can stop the run. Like we have a fairly decent functional front seven. Doesn't matter. You can pass on us all day. We gave up, if not the most, then the second most passing yards to the air last year because we can't cover anybody. So if you're getting sucked into, the Titans, this is our year to come back, we are resting everything on the freshly broken leg of a quarterback. He's not going to be the same. That sophomore slump is going to kick in. Our running attack will suffer because everyone's going to realize, hey, wait a second, your quarterback is a shell of himself at this point. Because it's not just the mobility. It's being able to throw and put pressure on that leg, so it's going to affect his throwing. It's just not going to be good for us. We are going back to the Jeff Fisher days of mediocrity. Because that's where we are.
Drop off, though, because, even with the injury of Mariota, you guys finished third in the league in rushing.
a lot of that was because people were terrified of what, like, once it became apparent that Mariota, we were going to let Mariota just slang the rock. It was like, okay, we have to at least respect it. And oh God, there's DeMarco Murray, and oh God, there's Derrick Henry, and oh God, right? Like it is a scary thing to game plan against because our receivers aren't terrible. Like the offense is sound, and Malarkey has decided not to listen to himself and actually expand the offense and be more than one dimensional, which
that's a clone. Mike Malarkey died in the offseason.
You know what? That's fair. I'll believe that. But no, I'm not saying last year was a mirage. I'm just saying when we allowed our quarterback to be injured in Jacksonville in a game he had no business playing, that kind of set the schedule back. You have no idea how pissed I was when he got hit on that play. I was like, he should not even be on the field right now. What are we doing?
Any draft picks that you really excited about?
Adoree Jackson, because he's a quarterback and he will start. Like I have no doubt in my mind because everyone runs nickel now, so he will start. He will get a lot of time on the field, and I want to see what he does because we didn't go the route I thought we would have gone with Vernon. Florida quarterbacks. That's kind of what we do, but we didn't go that route, and so let's see what the young man does.
That's fair. That's a fair and balanced approach to that, and I didn't expect that from him. I'm not going to lie. I expected a bit more fire and brimstone because I do not have a whole lot of faith in your squad. But I think I got a little bit more than you do. The Lions at 8.5 went 9-7 last year. I took the over because I like Mariota. I think he'll bounce back better than you do. What do you think?
I took the under because I don't think he's bouncing back from a broken leg this quickly. Because we're going to ask him to do a lot. If I know my team the way I know my team, we're going to act like nothing ever happened with him breaking his leg, and then we're going to ask ourselves, well, why did the drop off happen? Because he just broke his leg. That's why the drop off happened.
That's 100% fair. I'll be running the results of these picks under the podcast, so you guys keep track of them through the season. Justin, tell everyone where to find you, man.
Thank you very much. You can find me on Twitter at LJ90. You can also check me out on the Three Fifs Podcast, THREEFIFS Podcast. We do a lot of fun things over there. You should definitely check us out. We've got new and exciting things as we always do. We're always experimenting with content. Always experimenting with new fun ways to create content and just deliver quality products to you guys. So I think you're going to really enjoy what we've got coming next.
Invite me back on there pretty soon because I said it. All right. That's it.
You have read my mind, good sir.
Talk to you later, man. Thanks for doing this.
There you have it, another successful day of podcast week in the books. A big thank you to Justin from the Three Fifs Podcast. Make sure you follow him on Twitter at LJ90. He's a great follow and a good friend of mine, and I really do appreciate him doing this. Tomorrow, we wrap up the NFL talk where we take on the NFC. That's right, the home of my beloved Falcons who have continued to hurt me my entire life. And we'll have on Nada from formerly ESPN, currently Creative Loafing Charlotte, and Uprocks to break down the over-unders in the NFC. Spoilers, guys, he's a Giants fan who used to work for the Panthers, so to say that he gets into it with me, I get trolled for an hour. Basically, I get trolled for an hour. For those of you who are here for that kind of nonsense, congratulations, you get what you wanted. This has been Unanimous Decision Podcast. My name is DPalm. Follow me on Twitter at DPalm66. Follow the show on Twitter at UDPod. And if you're going to talk about us, please use the hashtag UDPod. Make sure that you found us. Now that you found us, make sure you don't lose us. Subscribe to the iTunes Store. Leave the 5-star reviews. Help out the show in all the ways you can. The best way you can help us out is to keep downloading, keep listening, and tell a friend, man. We get a lot of great content over here, not just in my little corner of the universe, but across the network altogether. That was your show. And for my boy Justin, this is your outro. See you guys tomorrow.
Heritage.